poem of unanswered questions. Ever since I was younger, I've always had a fascination with the power of a question. Like, why is the sky blue? Or do geese get goosebumps too? Is rain the tears of angels, or do raindrops just try to find its way back home to the ocean? Who put the alphabet in math? I really like both when they were separate, but equal. Or my favorite. How much wood does a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood? But as I got older, I realized that power withers away in some things like old batteries and encyclopedias. Google and grandparents can't answer all of your questions. I was always told that black is powerful, but how powerful is powerful? And so does that mean black skin has powers like magnetic forces? So does that mean black lives and bullets have some kind of relationship, an inseparable attraction? Is that why late night news always shows their weddings? See, I've been to these type of weddings before, looked at the groom and cried as I said my goodbye to a single life, prayed that the bullet that kissed him was gentle and didn't sting too bad because I know he gave that bullet his last breath. I'm convinced. This is a type of relationship that everyone knows about but questions. I know my grandmother always told me don't question God, but what part of his blueprint do I find the makeup of black skin? And why didn't he give us an extra layer, not for extra melanin, but for protection? And does he greet black bodies with an apology for placing us in a war we never asked to be a part of? If my arms are too short to box with God himself, but too black to hold up before we are sent to him, too suspicious to keep them in pockets, I guess locking them behind my back makes this world spin a little safer. Right. Where do I belong in this world? I'm from Virginia. Once the heart of the Confederate rebel flag still danced in the wind, but like ancestors, I'm trying my luck in the north just to find that the grass is the same color on either side. Question. Where do I belong? Question. Is it either between poplar trees or prisons? The things we were told to protect are now new folk tales and myths that describe our world. Question. Are we new slaves? Question. Question. How strong is vanity? Question. Has whips and chains replaced whips and chains? Question. How do I tell my younger sisters not to write my eulogy every time I walk out of the door? Question. How do I convince them being a black woman doesn't come with a second place medal attached in everything that you do? Question. How do I feed them confidence to love what you are wrapped in when I know mine is used for target practice? Question. Where do I find light in dark rooms? Question. Is it with the same hands that separated light from a dark world? I knew I wasn't supposed to question God again, but I have a fascination when it comes to questions. Question. Is there a shelter for black boys that I can check myself into? I'm trying to hide myself from my partner, and some nights I suffer from survivor's guilt. Question. Does black skin really have power? Question. Do you confuse my black skin with bruise marks? Question. How much love can a person give love when a person has been shown no love? Question. Why did they forget to tell you, like Trayvon and Sean Bell, Jesus too was an unarmed black man? Question. Is that shelter that I asked you about in between notebook lines and metaphors? Question. Can I ask you something? If a tree falls in the forest and no one is around, does it still make a sound? Or does it cry silently to itself when it learns that standing up was harder than falling down? Question. How does one's life stand on trial longer even when breath no longer fills its lungs? Question. How does the victim become prosecuted? Question. Is the war on drugs a metaphor for a war against people? Question. Can I tell you something? Ever since I was young, I've always had a fascination with the power of a question. To make one think about possible answers and solutions. Question. Does my life matter? Question. Does your life matter? Question. If all lives matter like they say, why do I hesitate to ask, does black lives really matter? Final question. Is it because I know the answer before I ask it?